So welcome back to SBA Insider. I'm Quinn Taylor. I'm here with Nick Frank and Jordan Gonzo Gonzalez. What's up, baby?
What's up, guys? How's everything going today?
Good, man.
It's a great day. You know, love coming to the facility early in the morning.
It's not early.
It's a little late today. A little late today.
That's all right. That's all right. Give us some insight on who you are and talk about your process here. You were here as a player, and now you're here as a coach, and you've got a lot of roles here, but you made an impact on a lot of players here now. So kind of give us a little bit about yourself.
So a little background story. I was 18 looking for a place to play.
Okay.
My organization didn't have an 18-year-old team, so I looked locally, and I came upon Nick Frank. Nick was working for, I think, Langenbeck at the time.
Steve Lang.
Yeah. He was working with Steve Langenbeck at the time, and we just showed up to this one random little field. Nick had no idea who any of us were.
Not one person.
No, not a single person, not a single soul. He
So
just had a bunch of dogs.
That's a typical baseball thing.
Yeah, man. He just had a bunch of dogs show up to this random beat-up field. We had one little practice, and then we had a game the next day. And I find myself in the 8-hole. And I had never hit in the 8-hole in my life going up to this point. So I'm like, all right. I'm like, let's see how this guy's about. So I have a great game. I go off, and I go up to Nick at the end of the game. I was like, do you know who I am? And he goes, Nope. But next game, we come back. I see my name in the 4-hole. And I didn't leave the 4-hole from that moment on. Like, he respected the fact that I had enough to come up to him and be like, hey, like, this is who I am. Let's see who you are kind of person. And that kind of stuck with me throughout my whole type of, like, time of playing. Because when I needed someone to go to, I didn't go to my own old program. I would always go to Nick. And, like, Nick would let me in the facility. Nick would let me work when I was going through pro ball. He was the first person I came back to. And then that's why I'm here now. Because once my career was done, I had no problems. I had no questions, no ifs, ands, or buts if he was going to be there for me.
Right.
He was always there for me. So I knew that was my time to kind of step back up and give back to someone that believed in me. And now I believe in him type of thing, you know?
That's excellent.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That is really cool.
It was a cool journey seeing where I am
wish
now.
I didn't even know that story.
Yeah.
Give me your perspective on that.
Obviously, for one to come back and the way he worked, and the way he played as a player, obviously it was just a summer, but the way he went about his pro ball, the way he gives back now, you know who Jordan Gonzalez is once you get to it.
For sure. For sure. Now, you coach the 17U national team here.
Yes.
Give us some insight on that process and talk about that feeling of being around those guys. And was that the first choice? You wanted to coach older guys, and give us your take on coaching those guys.
So when I first came in, they had me working with, I think it was the 12s. They threw me in the Cooperstown group, bro.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh, threw me right into the fire with that. Threw me into the fire with that. And once I realized like I was able to handle that, I knew I would be able to handle like a bigger age group by myself, and how I'm able to relate with some of the boys. Like, it might have been my first year last year, but that was an easy year. So I'm excited to see what comes this year. Like, being able to talk to college coaches back then and understand that they're just real people like me and you right here having a conversation. That's exactly how the conversations go when your game is done and you got to go talk to a coach about a player. Like, they're not going to be all hard-nosed. They want to know the ins and outs of your player. They want to know your program. They want to see how you go out onto the field and how you come off the field, if you're going to be the same no matter what the result is. And that comes from the coaching standpoint too. So I've learned, like, being even-keeled through the start of the game and through the end of the game. You don't want to change up on your players either. So that was a cool little, I guess, learning moment from my side. Like, hey, I don't want to be the coach that was always on me. I want to be the coach that allows their players to actually go through their mistakes and learn from their mistakes in the game, and hopefully be able to come back like later on in the game after they made that mistake and really show out and show who they really can be as a player. You know, it's a cool learning moment. Like throughout the whole entire season for me when it came to stuff like that.
And speaking of learning moments too, Nick, kind of talk about that learning moment you've had from Jordan as a coach here. As you know, you've seen him evolve from an 18-year-old to where he is now. What have you seen and where you've seen him grow in this process of being a coach from a player?
Communication, right? But he always did communicate as a player, as his coach, right? Like you told the story when we started today, but just communicating. I call him up, we go over the plan. He'll be like, Nick, come on, no, we're not going to do that. I'm like, Jordan, we're doing that. These guys are coming here, right? And like, there's a lot of communication when it comes from the 17 national team to be the guy who oversees the program.
Yeah.
We're talking all the time. Doesn't matter where he is. I said, Jordan, we got to answer the phone.
Oh, 11 o'clock Diamond Nations.
Yeah, and the schedules get crazy. It rains, things change. Coaches got schedules. They're going to cancel. They're going to do those things. So when they're there, he's got to show those guys that they're there to see.
Right.
And I think that's the biggest thing. He holds accountability, and he is there for me for me to be able to call it and pick up the phone. Not every coach will do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like he knows that with 17U, there's more responsibility.
So much more than people actually realize. Like he's not kidding when I'm talking about Diamond Nation ends at 11:30 and we're on the phone. He's like, yeah, I just talked to Seton Hall about this kid like during your game.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, wow. So that's really how quick this communication works. Mid-game, they're calling my head guy to talk about a player that literally just stepped off the mound about 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool to see how that communication aspect really works beyond just me and him.
Yeah. You think that's been the biggest challenge as far as learning this coaching ordeal?
Yeah, definitely. Understanding like what college coaches are actually looking for in players. Like Nick was good at teaching me in the sense of you never want to oversell your guy because you want these college coaches to come back and respect the organization, respect the program that we run. So if we're going to go get a guy to a certain school, we want to make sure it's the right fit for the school and our guy. Not just, hey, we got a stud over here. Let's see how it works out. And I think that's really been a main focus of me when I'm going to talk to these schools because I want them to be able to go to Nick or Nick to be able to call them and be like, yo, we do have a guy for you. And them just be like, yep, perfect, let's go.
Yeah.
If we can build that relationship as we already have been starting to do with coaches, the sky's the limit for us when it comes to recruiting.
Right. You've kind of started taking over the recruiting here for the last couple of years.
This will be my third year doing it by myself.
And
as the head guy, not obviously it's a team effort, but by myself.
Right. And how's that responsibility kind of been taking that over? And do you find it easier or do you find it harder than people expected? Or what do you
I find it easier.
Okay.
I think just stay true to who you are. We had a lot of talent when I took over.
Yeah.
3 teams, 2 teams that were really good. 19 guys or 27 guys went to school, and in that class. So I think that was a perfect time for me to learn.
Yeah.
And I'm a quick learner. And I've realized that when you have that guy, an SEC guy, or an ACC guy, or you have that guy, they're all going to be there anyway.
Right.
So that you just start to look who else is there for the other guys. And that's all we did.
Yeah.
And your schedule plays key to it. We've been talking about it. Like, we don't need to go to Georgia.
No.
We don't need to do all those things. Like, if they don't know you in the Northeast, they don't know you in Georgia.
That's the truth.
Pretty simple.
I think that's the biggest thing that I've learned from it. Because I'm like, oh, you got to go to Georgia. Georgia's a good vacation. It's a good tournament. Alpharetta's beautiful. But like at the end of the day, like stay local and know your guys and do a schedule based on what you have in your program. I think that's where parents.
That's key right there.
Yeah, parents. That's what I learned the most in year one. Even with a lot of talent, I learned that. And we can play with anyone at that level, like with both teams. So I think that when you go and you see who you have in your program and the talent you have in your program, I think the schedule is key. And just to communicate with the guys that are going to be there.
Yeah.
And I think that, it works. So I found it easier. A lot of people told me all these years that you can do it. I never really thought I could do it as easy as I could. But I did. It's like riding a bike at this point. It's that easy. Because like Jordan said, they'll come. Just tell the truth.
They really come when you just tell the truth.
Yeah.
Just tell the truth. Right, like Virginia Tech, I want them to know when I call, there's another Justin.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I'll never call them to that. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's important. Right? Rutgers is really good now. They text me every year. If I don't think we have a guy, we don't have a guy. They appreciate it. You're not wasting their time.
Right.
I could get all those schools that come to Sportika and make all the parents and players believe in all that stuff.
Yeah.
That they're really here, but you're paying them, and they need to make money.
Right.
It doesn't mean they're interested in any sport player unless we have a guy that can play there.
100%.
And I think that's when eye candy comes in there. It comes into play at that point.
Yeah, we'll have as much eye candy as we need to moving down the road. But where do you think? Where do you like the direction? Do you like the direction of the program right now?
I love where we're going. I think we're bringing aspects that not many programs, freaking 10 hours away from here, are really bringing in. Like we have our weight room set up from you guys with Boundless. Like that's ginormous. I know when I was training in my facilities back then, we had our weight room right next to our cages.
Right.
So that's just exactly that one-stop shop that we're trying to get in here. That's exactly what's happening. And you can't ask for more than that as an athlete. Like I don't want to have to travel from the gym that's 35 minutes away to then come hit and then go get another session in because I have to go do some arm care for catching or something like that. Like I'd rather all be in my one-stop shop so that way I'm here. I get to build like that culture, that family. We're talking about the competitive environment when you got other guys that are good in this weight room. You're like, damn, I need to be better than that guy. And you just have that environment to keep pushing each other. Like this is going in the exact direction that I kind of would have hoped it could go in. And we're starting small, and it's already big.
Right.
It's already pretty awesome. Like to see the things that we've gotten done, and the people that are interested into what we're doing as a program. And it's a family. Like it's really freaking cool how well we've all been able to make this process happen.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely excited for the summer. Definitely.
Oh man, from the spring to the summer, there's a lot of plans right now. And Nick, do you feel like you're going in the right direction with all of these plans? I know you've got a lot of things going on behind the scenes. Things that will be unfolded to the people at one point pretty soon, but we got to keep things close to the vest. But do you like where the program's heading?
I'm very happy in year 2 of ownership. Yeah. Right, that's the biggest thing that changed. You're able to make deals. You're able to go out there and you know what's there, what you have and what you don't have. And like Jordan said, having you guys here and having this be a one-stop shop and still have the family and the culture and do everything the right way. I love where we're going, and there's a lot more things to come. And we'll keep it to the vest, no doubt. But I appreciate him. He does Catchers U. Right, so make sure we follow him there.
Tell us where they can find.
So I coach Gonz. That's my Instagram, but I run our catchers for our organization. My little brand is Catchers Only University, and it's going well, man. Like I get to see from last year to this year, like my older age group went from like 6 kids to like 12 kids right now. And they're all wanting to come back, and they're all competing against each other. Like I put them through like little like quick movement drills when it comes to blocking and recovering, and then like turn it into a race when it was just supposed to be a circuit. So it's like like they make their own competitive vibe. So like I have a lot of fun pushing them through it, and it makes it almost not a job for me. It's really like I'm just training with a bunch of other younger guys, and I'm just the old head over here, like with the knowledge in my head.
Well, we appreciate Jordan, literally volunteering his time and donating back to and giving us our service hours. So we appreciate that. Dude,
I love it. You know it. It's so much fun, man. The baseball's life is so much more fun than people realize.
No, man, it's great. We're extremely happy to have you.
Yeah, bro, I appreciate you guys.
You set up a lot of foundation here, and I think you're going to continue to build pillars here.
Yeah, man.
In this organization.
Hope so, bro. Hope so.
The biggest thing that we, to wrap up, that I've told him from day one, like he reminds me of me when I was young, and Steve gave me an opportunity. You got to take that opportunity and go. He's a listen from day one, not going to be rich off the bat, not going to be doing all this. You got to hustle. You got to build your brand within the walls. These walls are a lot bigger than the walls I built my brand. So I look at it just having his back and him having mine and continue to grow. I think every coach can grow inside these walls. And be where Jordan's at. He's listened. He's paid attention. He's a smart kid. So I appreciate him just for that. And he's starting to see the benefits of that. And I think that's important. And I think it's important for our youth. Like we had Coach Fody on. Coach Sparks, and Coach Sparks, who's young.
He's coming.
To follow that, to follow what he's doing, because at some point that's what you're gonna have to do.
Yeah, no doubt.
Learn from the best.
No doubt.
There you go.
Well, both you guys continue to keep being leaders.
Yes, sir.
Continue to keep pushing, and let's take this thing to the moon, man.
Yes, sir. Bet.
SBA Insider, Quinn Taylor, Nick Frank, Jordan Gonzalez.